Welcome to the Coach's Corner here live from the Tivoli Tap House. I'm John Kietzmann, joined by David Moreno. We've got a great show lined up. David, who do we got on tap tonight?
We have head coach for the men's basketball team, Michael Bahl. We have head coach Annie Van Wetzinga for the softball team, and then we have senior outfielder Kristyn Peters from the softball team.
So we've got a full-packed show coming up, but before we get to any of that, we definitely have to recap the highlights from this last weekend in Roadrunners athletics. We'll kick up things off with some women's basketball. First, the team took care of business against Colorado Mesa in the first round of the RMAC tournament. Senior Janae Squires-Horton put up a game-high 18 points to lead the Roadrunners to the 71-58 win. Then it was on to the semifinals of the RMAC tournament to take on Black Hill State in Pueblo. Emily Hardigan exploded for 16 points to carry the team offensively. It was a tight contest, and the Yellow Jackets hit some key free throws to put Black Hill State up by 1 late in the game. Hardigan had a chance to win it for the Roadrunners, but her shot fell just short, ending the RMAC tournament run. But that wouldn't be the final game of the season. Coach Jave's squad has earned the number 6 seed in the NCAA South Central Regional and will take on CSU Pueblo in the first round of the NCAA tournament this Friday.
The men's basketball team went to Alamosa, Colorado for the first round of the RMAC tournament. They were in a dogfight that came down to the final moments. Cameron Williams had a chance to send the game into overtime but missed a late three-pointer as the Roadrunners fell to Adams State 64-61. Their season comes to an end, but it was a fun season to watch under Michael Bahl's first year as head coach.
Let's move out to the Diamond as the Roadrunners baseball team hosted CSU Pueblo this weekend to begin conference play. Cade Crater pitched a gem on Saturday, shutting out the Thunderwolves in 6 innings of work. It was Crater's second win of the season, leading his squad to the 4-1 win. The Bats came alive on Sunday, racking up 16 runs to take the series 3-1. Logan Sewell hit his first home run of the season, and it was a grand slam, putting the team up 4-1 in the first inning. It was a great start for head coach Ryan Strain and his squad as they continue RMAC play on the road this weekend.
The softball team battled on the road with University of Colorado Springs this past weekend. The Roadrunners dropped Game 2 by just 2 runs and Game 3 by just 1 run. But in Game 4, the Roadrunners offense piled up 16 runs to take the series finale by a final score of 16-12. 10 different Roadrunners had a base hit, and 9 different Roadrunners had at least 1 RBI.
Last but definitely not least, the men's and women's tennis teams came through with some incredible wins in Lawton, Oklahoma. The men's team pulled off the upset against number 22 St. Mary's. The doubles team of Josh Greats and Joey Cherney won their number 1 doubles match 8-4, while Daniel Lorente and Greats won both of their singles matches to complete the victory. The women's team also defeated the 19th ranked Texans from Tarleton State. It was also a 5-4 decision as Alex Pessoa and Tabitha Porter won their number 2 doubles match. Emily Kerr and Lin Ying Chao earned wins in their singles matches as well. With all of that action going on this past weekend, there was a lot happening, and we'd like to welcome in Coach Annie Van Wetzinga from the softball team. So Annie, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, there's a lot going on. It's March Madness. Jumping right into it, you've been to a number of NCAA tournaments yourself.
Sure.
What is your favorite part about going to an NCAA tournament?
I think just the excitement and seeing the excitement in the players, you know, kind of having all your hard work pay off and extending your season and also kind of the excitement of, like, in softball you're not necessarily one and done, but you know, like, you know, when is it going to happen, and everything's kind of, a lot of things ride on one game at a time, and that always makes for an exciting atmosphere.
Do you have a favorite NCAA moment, whether it was as a player or as a coach?
Yeah. As a player, I had some moments. My senior year in college, we hosted the regional, and it was a really, really tough regional. And we won in extra innings against a really tough Azusa Pacific. Excuse me, not Azusa Pacific, but it was a team from Seattle, and I'm just totally slipped my mind. But and we pulled it off. We won, and in a really tight games, and then we ended up going to the national tournament, the World Series, and got second there, runner-up. So just kind of that whole run and having, like, there's so many tight games and the atmosphere, and it was pretty exciting and amazing to do that with my teammates and go through that. That was awesome.
So, transitioning from years gone by to now this year, and you're starting to look at this last weekend and looking at how your team is coming together. Offensively, I know Saturday was a little bit of a struggle. Things weren't quite going the way that you wanted them to go. Starting kind of putting things together. How do you coach through some of those deals with your team, and they're going up to bat, and not so much that they're pressing, but maybe that they're still relaxed, but not too relaxed either?
I think we're definitely, it's a case of pressing, and I think hitting, you've heard it before, it's kind of a cliche, but it's really contagious, and it can be contagious a lot of times, you think, like, in a good way, but it can be contagious in a bad way too. We got a lot of people pressing, especially I think some players that have been here and done it. We know what they're capable of. They've put up the numbers, and I think they're kind of pressing right now and trying to do too much, and then it's hard for a lot of other players to relax that way, who maybe don't have that experience and they're going through all this the first time. So we're really just trying to focus on kind of the small things, and we're trying to tell them, like, just have quality at bats, like be tough outs, trying to focus on attacking our pitches, because hitting's hard enough anyways, and if you're chasing balls out of the strike zone, it's going to be even tougher. So really just trying to focus on being tough outs, trying to barrel up as many balls as we can, and we think if that happens, it'll start kind of rolling. Like we saw that in the last game, it was very contagious. We had like 2 or 3 really big innings. All of a sudden, it was just blow up with a ton of runs. So obviously, I think with this team, it's even more contagious. And so we're hoping that can kind of carry over, bring that energy. Don't always have to fight from behind.
You talk about that game where you scored 16 runs in the finale. What did you see on the positive side of things that you can build with your team moving forward?
I think we started to get a little bit more disciplined at the plate, something we're trying to talk to them about, not chasing out of the strike zone again. And so we were doing that, waiting for more, being pickier at the plate. And so what you do then is you're making the opposing pitcher work harder. And so we need to put more pressure on the opposing pitcher by throwing more pitches. And we did some nice execution. Really, is timely hitting, and that's really what hitting is, especially when you go into key games and tough competition. Yeah, you want hits, but you want hits at the right time, because I've been a part of many games, and a lot of coaches have, where you have a lot of people on base and you get hits, but it's about stringing them together at the right time.
So, Coach, starting to look at how the season is laid out, it moves very, very quickly from that first pitch to that last out.
Yeah.
And we've talked in the past about the 3 seasons, the non-conference, the conference, and then that postseason. So starting to look at where you're progressing and how you're taking this team through, non-conference is done, you're 2 weekends into the conference season. From a progression standpoint, what's the next step for you to move on here?
We're really looking at the next weekend, especially where we're at right now. We have to try to continue to get better every day. So I'm looking for people to continue to kind of grow up and mature as players, We're looking for people, and you can see that, I guess, at what kind of at-bats we're having. We want to continue to have those mature at-bats, where you are understanding your approach, what kind of pitch you're looking for in what situation. And again, I think if we focus on that stuff and just kind of getting a little bit better each day, things will kind of start clicking for us a little bit. We'll have more consistent success, because again, we've seen glimpses here and there, but we have to do a better job of putting it all together. Like Saturday, we had no offense, and our pitchers weren't that bad. defense wasn't that bad, but you can only keep another team at bay for so long. You know, we need to try to get everything to click more consistently at the same time.
One of those players that seems to be improving is Corey Wright. The freshman gave you some production this weekend. Tell us a little bit about Corey and where you found her.
Yeah, Corey, she's very, very quiet, but you know, as we've kind of seen her through the season and throughout the year, I think that really helps her. You know, she just kind of goes about her business and works hard, but at the same time, even though she's kind of quiet and maybe doesn't have a huge presence, you can tell she's always working, and it bothers her not to be successful, and she knows she has a really good approach to the plate. I think her approach to the plate is more mature than maybe some freshmen have, and so she knows how to make the adjustments or what adjustments she needs to make a lot, and so it's fun to kind of see her now kind of relax, and now she's letting her skill take over. And she's from California, and she was teammates with freshman pitcher Destiny Lopez, so we kind of saw them playing club ball together on the same team.
So Annie, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you having you here, and you know, good luck here coming up this weekend when you get to protect some home field.
Yeah, good to be back home. It'll be good.
So before we take our first break, we want to make sure we get to our tweet of the week this week, coming from women's basketball. It comes from women's basketball as they took part in the NCAA Selection Sunday. The squad was so excited to see their name up on the screen as they now head to Lubbock, Texas to take on CSU Pueblo in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Keep up with the Roadrunners on their trip towards the national championship at roadrunnersathletics.com. And when we return, we're going to have head men's basketball coach Michael Bahl right back here on the Coach's Corner.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million have been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner, and before we get to head men's basketball coach Michael Bahl, we want to remind you that the Tivoli Tap House has got great food and great beer and are great partners of Roadrunners Athletics. Not only that, they have the Mug Club. The Mug Club being a $50 donation, you get $2 off draft beers when you come here for Tivoli. You definitely want to make your way down here to the Mug Club. Tivoli beer also available now at the Beer Garden at the Regency Athletic Complex. $150 will get you 2 passes out there for 4 free complimentary beers to the Tivoli Beer Garden. Be sure to come on out to the Tivoli Beer Garden at the Regency Athletic Complex this weekend for softball. And now we're going to welcome head coach Michael Bahl into the show. Michael, appreciate you having you.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
You know, we just asked Annie a little question about the NCAA tournament and March Madness and the time that it brings up, and I'm sure it has good memories for you. What's your best memory, either as a coach or as a player, of this tournament time?
Oh, I think it has to go back, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago when we got to the national title game. I mean, that was an unbelievable experience. It happened to be like the only time that the NCAA ever had the Division II team teamed up with the Division I sort of Final Four. Just that whole experience to sort of see, how they do it at that level, and just the environment. And obviously, when you win, it's pretty special itself. But that's probably one that comes to mind.
Speaking of March Madness, your wife Amy earned a big win this past weekend with Evergreen High School, earning a trip to the Final Four. How excited and proud are you to see the success from your wife?
Oh, it's the best time of year. You know, she's done an amazing job, and the streak that she's on with her team is pretty special. You know, this is her third Final Four in 3 years. So just to be there, I mean, I was there Friday night with my dad and my kids up at Air Academy watching them play, and it's just exciting to see, you know, all the hard work, and it pays off. And you know, I can relate to sort of the stress that she goes through. She was down 9-0 to start the game, and I felt the pressure just like her, and I was screaming for a timeout, and she got a timeout, and so. But it was special. You know, it's just something good to be a part of, and you know, she plays Thursday night at the Coliseum, so I'm looking forward to the game, and it should be a fun weekend for us.
So, Michael, you know, you talked a little bit about the stresses of a coach, and your season wrapped up here just about a week ago now. You were the number 5 seed in the RMAC tournament when you went up to Adams State. When you went to take on that game, I know you'd had a match up with them earlier in the year that was very high scoring. What was the game plan going into this matchup this last week?
You know, we knew they scored, you know, close to 35 to 40% of their points in transition, you know, off our turnovers or off our misses. So our game plan was pretty simple. It was just to keep them out of transition, and I thought we did a masterful job of that. You know, if you were to watch the game on TV or if you were there, I mean, every time we shot the basketball, we had 4 or 5 guys running back. You know, we made no emphasis of getting offensive rebounds, and that's crazy to say, and we still got 17 offensive rebounds that game. Bunama got 9 by himself. But it was just a huge emphasis to keep them out of transition. You know, we knew if the game was in the 70s or 80s, it favored them, so we knew we had to keep it in the 60s, which we did. So, I mean, overall, I was very pleased with how the guys executed our defensive game plan.
Give us some thoughts on this game. We saw runs from both squads in the first half. It was back and forth action in the second half. What made the difference for the Grizzlies to steal this game away from you guys? You
know, I think it came down to, at the end of the day, you can get as many stops as you possibly need, but if you can't make free throws or open threes, it'll eventually catch up to you. And unfortunately, it's been our Achilles heel all year, especially from the free throw line. When you shoot 62% on average and you're the worst in the conference, you know, games, especially close games, good competition, you know, those free throws really do add up. You know, we were 14 for 28, and it just didn't go our way. But that's sort of how the season went for us from the free throw line. But I couldn't be more proud of the way our boys competed, especially the seniors and some of the upperclassmen. You know, their last go around, we gave ourselves a chance. That's all we asked for. But it really just did come down to we just didn't make enough shots at the end of the day to really put us over the top.
So, Coach, let's talk about that a little bit with your seniors. And it's always tough to end a season, no matter how that comes, way, shape, or form. So let's take a little peek behind the curtain, if you will. What did you say to the group in the locker room after the season was over?
You know, I just told them I loved them and I was proud of them. You know, sometimes, and it's hard to really talk to the guys after that situation because they're emotional. Everyone's emotional. But I just try to reiterate to them, you know, I said, man, 5 or 6 years from now, you're not going to remember this game at all. You're going to remember the experiences you had with your teammates, you know, not necessarily on the floor. You know, just camaraderie you had with the guys, whether it's on a road trip, at dinner, horsing around back in the dorms, playing, you know, doing stuff that young men do. Those are the times you're going to remember the most. You know, I know it hurts right now, but at the end of the day, as a coach, all you can ask for is that you gave 110%. And I really think we did. You know, if you were to watch that game and the Cardinal School of Mines game, we played extremely hard. We did not lose because of lack of effort. You know, and that's the one thing we pride ourselves on as a culture is, you know, the attitude and effort consistently. And I thought we did that at the end of the season, which was good to see.
Well, your first season as head coach is now in the books. Not looking back at the wins and losses as much, tell us how this year went for you as the man in charge.
Oh, it's a dream come true. You know, I mean, obviously you want to win more games. I believe this is our 24th consecutive season with having a winning record, you know, which I take pride in. Obviously, I've been a part of those both as a player and as a coach now. But, I mean, it's just one of those things where it goes by so fast. You know, just slow down and you want to stop time. And I wish we had practice today, and you know, I wish we're preparing for the NCAA tournament. But I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot as a coach in terms of just, you know, how to go throughout a season. It's a longer season as a head coach than it is as an assistant. But I think I've learned a lot, stuff I'm going to use in the future to help us and the team, you know, progress and get back to our winning ways.
So, Coach, you know, kind of your last question today. What is the one thing that when you look back on this and you say you've learned a lot? is there anything in particular that you can point to and say, you know, I really grew in this area?
You know, a lot of it has to be with letting go of control sometimes. You know, early in the season I was trying to control everything, especially during the game and practice, and that's why I hire assistant coaches. You know, that's why you have other people around you to help you. You know, so about halfway through the season, you know, I took a step back. And I started relying on my assistant coaches, whether in a timeout, you know, just for input and stuff like that. I don't have all the answers, you know, and I thought early in the piece, you know, I thought I did, but obviously I didn't. You know, just getting help from outside people who are just as invested as I am, you know, so that's the one thing, is just to rely on, whether it's the support staff, John, Dr. Grant, you know, some of the other people around the office, just bounce ideas off people in terms of how it's going and just talk about things. That's probably the one thing I've learned the most.
Coach, well, congratulations on a great first year. I know there's many more to come. We appreciate you having you here.
No, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So when we come back, we're going to catch up with senior outfielder Kristyn Peters from the softball team here on the Coach's Corner.
I pledge.
I pledge. I pledge.
Here at MSU Denver.
To stop sexual harassment.
To identify situations
in which sexual assault may occur.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
It's on us.
All of us.
To get a friend home safely.
It's on us to be a part of the solution.
And not part of the problem.
Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There are over 480,000 college athletes. Only 2% would go pro.
That means over 470,000 will not get a shoe contract. No autographs. No private jets. No fan clubs. No Hall of Fame inductions. Instead, they will walk away with something much more valuable.
I'm Serena Espinoza, senior catcher for the softball team.
In the past 4 years, for some of these players, 5 years, as Espinoza comes in, what a play! The veteran catcher.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Harley Hoosier, senior third baseman for the softball team.
Good change. Right side, gets it through. One run's gonna come in. Another run, McGee heading home. She'll slide in, and Hoosier comes up with the 2-run single.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner, live here from the Tivoli Tap House. Before we get to senior outfielder Kristyn Peters, we want to remind you, you got to download that Roadrunners Rewards app. The Roadrunners Rewards app is available on your phone or tablet. Download the Roadrunners Rewards app and get rewarded when you attend MSU Denver athletic events. Whether that's at games, Roadrunner luncheons, or even right here at the Tivoli Tap House for the Coach's Corner. You can earn points towards great prizes. Don't wait another minute and be sure to download that Roadrunner Rewards app. Roadrunner Rewards, say that 3 times fast. But Kristyn, welcome here. Appreciate you having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, let's talk a little bit about some fun that you guys have on the softball field. Let's talk about Fun Friday. For anybody that follows along on Twitter, they're able to see all the antics that you guys are up to, everything from the Valentine's Day exchange to Pajama Day. First off, can you tell us what Fun Friday is?
Fun Friday, every week we think of a different theme to do. Then everyone kind of dresses up for that theme. And then also for our warm-up, rather than doing the normal sprints and stuff we do, we get to play something like backwards ball or handball. So something to look forward to every end of the week. Going into the games kind of relaxes us a little bit.
Nice.
Let's talk about the UCCS series a little bit. After struggling to put up some runs in the first 2 games, the offense opened up a bit and scoring 7 runs and then 16 runs. What changed for your team, and do you feel this may bring some confidence to the team going forward?
Absolutely. I think we kind of got to a point where it just kind of started clicking. We had a couple girls that, myself included, we kind of struggled for the games leading up to that. And we kind of had a breaking point where we just started hitting, and I think it kind of pumped everybody up. And that is exciting going into next weekend. We got to end on a good note. Obviously, the weekend didn't go how we wanted it to, but it was good that we got to end on such a good note with so many different girls stepping out and getting some big hits there and kind of boosting our confidence, if anything.
So, Kristyn, Coach Van Wetzinga, she clearly has a lot of pride in the program, and she puts a lot of time, effort into it, and obviously a competitor. What does it mean? And I know she carries some things forward with the team, but what does it mean to wear Roadrunners across your chest when you're out there playing? Do you feel like that represents more than just your team, or what do you feel for the program with that word across your chest?
Well, obviously, ever since I've been here too, and I know way before I was here, it's been such a successful team. So it's just having more pride in the university, and I know Coach Van has put so much time into this and the recruiting process, and she's done a great job at recruiting genuinely nice girls that want to compete and have fun together. So it really is just kind of working for the girls that are around us and for the coaches and stuff, and kind of putting more meaning into it.
You personally are off to a great start this season. You just hit your 5th home run of the season, which is already a career high for you. What has been the biggest difference for you this season to come out and play so well already to start off the season?
I think in the past I've kind of battled with injuries, so it's just kind of like a week-to-week thing whether or not I'd be playing. So this year I've really gotten to get my reps in and getting more at-bats, and I feel like that's really helped with my consistency, is just really seeing more pitches than I have in the past, and it's built my confidence up too, like knowing that I've done well the weekends before and I've seen the pitches and that I'm ready to hit.
So let's talk a little bit about Kristyn Peters herself and what got you to this point. So you're from Lakewood. You went and you did a year at Colorado State, then transferred down to MSU Denver. So kind of a two-part question. First off, what got you into softball? And then secondly, what brought you to MSU Denver?
When I was younger, a bunch of my friends were just playing softball. I was kind of bouncing around between soccer and basketball and everything, and then softball was just kind of the one that stuck with me. It's the least amount of running for the other one, so that kind of stuck, and I played. And then, yeah, I went to CSU. I actually played there for a year and a half, and then I stopped playing there and went there for another year. And I didn't think I would miss softball as much as I did, but yeah, I had that time off and really realized how much I miss softball and the atmosphere and the kind of camaraderie you get from it. And then I had an opportunity to come and start playing here again, and it's been great. I'm really happy I got back into it.
That's great.
It says in your player bio on roadrunnerslife.com that you plan to major in hospitality. Is that still the case, and what's the dream job after college?
Yeah, so right now I'm in events and meeting management. I kind of started off wanting to do wedding planning. Now I've kind of broadened it a little bit. I'd like to do wedding planning, but kind of more corporate events or something. It'd be really cool if I can get into like sports events, planning in that sort of field.
So Kristyn, you have a couple of family members here as well that came to watch you tonight at the show. Family clearly very important, but you've got a couple of brothers. So now I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's the best athlete in the family?
Oh, I am. They'll say it too.
You're the best athlete by far?
Oh, yeah.
No matter what the sport?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's always good.
We all have our different strengths, but yeah,
you're the best athlete. We definitely appreciate that. Kristyn, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on to the show tonight.
Thanks again.
So before we cut loose here and get out of this week's show, we want to make sure that we update you on everything that's coming up here in this weekend in Roadrunners Athletics. The women's basketball season continues on into the NCAA tournament. The squad will head to Lubbock, Texas for the South Central Regional. They will take on CSU Pueblo on Friday at 11 a.m. and you can watch all of the action live with the link on roadrunnersathletics.com.
Kristyn and her softball squad will be back home at the Regency Athletic Complex. They'll host Fort Lewis College for double headers on this Friday and Saturday. We'll have video streams of all 4 games on Stretch Internet. The baseball team will hit the road to continue conference play, and they'll battle with New Mexico Highlands in Las Vegas, Nevada. The series opener will take place this Friday at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, and live video should be available.
The women's golf team kicks off their spring season in Pleasanton, California to take part in the Tim Tierney Pioneer Shootout. The tournament began today and will finish up tomorrow. Also, the men's and women's tennis teams will be back at it this week. They first head to Kristyn's hometown of Lakewood to take on Colorado Christian this Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Then the Roadrunners head to Pueblo on Sunday to take on the Thunderwolves. Those matches will start at 10 a.m. Don't forget, you can keep up with all of the Roadrunners Athletics action on roadrunnersathletics.com. We'd like to thank all of our guests tonight, Coach Van Wetzinga, Coach Bahl, and of course, Kristyn. Appreciate you coming on. For David Moreno, I'm John Kietzmann. We'll see you next time here on the Coach's Corner.